Like this is one scene, one of the ladies runs up and like just full on decks like one of the bad guys, and it like wow, I wonder if she actually hit him. Like
Yeah.
she just really cleaned his clock. But yeah, it was really cool to see that they had actually done that review, and I was like, I was looking at that. I've seen that movie, and I've got like the Santos, the rest of the Santos series, which they're not Shakespeare. But
No. Well, here's the thing though. Like I don't really see. I've read not a ton of Shakespeare, and I've watched some, and I've actually been in a couple of Shakespearean plays. I mean, I don't know. They're pretty basic stories. They're not like super convoluted for the most part. We're not. These aren't like Christopher Nolan movies. This isn't fucking Memento. All right. Now there's some of the stuff that's it's still good. I'm not like digging on Shakespeare, especially for one, the time, two, the language is beautiful. I think. They're very elemental stories, and that. There's nothing wrong with that. But they deal with Santa. I can't even keep this up. I can't keep it up. No, Santos is not fucking Shakespeare. I'm kidding. Welcome to the Save vs. Poison podcast, the podcast dedicated to gaming, general geekery, and enduring sobriety in an ever maddening society. With your host, Will, and two guys that probably live under his stairs. If you're an addict, know an addict, or are just interested in exploring the outer mysteries of geekery, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's season 4, episode 5. We're just churning them out, one after another. And that, to me, just like every week, is very exciting. Oh, I get so excited to do the show with you guys. And to have it stream right into all of your ear holes. Thanks for joining us again. We got an exciting show. I wrote a plot for this show. We got 2 storylines. One for the sober part of things, one for the gaming part of things. Like, I prepared this time. Most of the time, we just fucking wing it, or I turn it over to Ticky to disgust us with bad movie takes.
or Steve can run it with psyops.
Or with yeah.
Everything up.
I don't think we actually, I don't try to get him to do that. In point of, I feel like I'm trying to dissuade him from all of the psyop shenanigan bullshit that he pulls.
He's having too much fun with it.
I think he's having too much fun. I think he's implacable. I think it's impossible to get him to stop. So, anyways, as you just heard, joining me this evening, he often gets upset anytime someone offers him a Belgian waffle because it feels it should be a Jean-Claude Van Damme-inspired sex move, not a hot griddled breakfast dish slathered in syrup. He's my friend Ticky.
Yeah, hey, how you doing? And to that point, I think one of the ones that I do know of is the Jean-Claude Van Damme breakfast dishes would be possibly the Pop-Tart. But you have to remember, and this is why it's important to remember this, to him, it's a foreign delicacy.
It is a foreign delicacy to him.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I don't know.
It's a piece of cardboard. They slap some frosting down the middle. They fold it over, package it. That's how that
And boom shakalaka, you've got yourself a delicious American treat for Belgian. I just love the idea of you saying like you had somebody do the Belgian helicopter on you once, which was when a girl was astride you and then did the full splits and then spun around on your knob. A la Jean-Claude Van Damme in all of his movies featuring the Belgian helicopter kick move.
I'm really I can picture it, but not with real people.
No, of course not.
It's it's like CGI.
I think I've seen it in an anime.
Yeah, or an anime, right?
Japanese perverted animation. No, it doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know. Maybe not one of my stronger jokes, but it's what I had.
Speaking, I just don't know how that would actually. I mean, that's just now I've got all sorts of questions.
You just need a gymnast, all right? I'm sure that there's some lucky lady out there who's just waiting to get into a relationship with you that will show you what a Belgian helicopter looks and feels like when performed mid-coitus.
That would be cool. I'd love to have a girlfriend.
Ladies, get on it.
I'd love to get laid. That'd be pretty cool.
Learn to do the splits.
Interesting concept. Though. I actually never. I haven't actually heard of that one. So it's.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It's like the. I don't want to get into what you would call the sex move when it's Jean-Claude and Dennis Rodman.
Oh man. The double team?
Yeah, I think that's just a double team.
Yeah, that's just a double team.
That was the name of the movie.
Yeah, the JCVD Dennis Rodman move. I get it. I'm there. I'm 100% there with you.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Not joining us right now. He might wander in at a later date. He recently was spotted outside a showing of the new film Thor: Love and Thunder, holding a sign that said, "Bring back Fat Thor." He is now leader of a worldwide movement that is anti-Taika Waititi, that boasts tens of members, all dressing like a certain Lebowski. He's my friend Steve. Unfortunately, he's not here yet, though. He said something about a baby monitor and spying on his neighbors because he knows that they've been stealing his donuts. That's all I got for Steve tonight. I don't know. Maybe he wanders in, maybe he doesn't. Either way, I wasted that perfectly good joke on empty air now because he's not here to psyop us, which makes me very, very sad. Ticky, how the hell are you? How's your week?
I'm all right.
Nobody worry about you?
No, it's worry about me.
Why you gotta put up a fight?
No, I'm okay. I've had a kind of a weird epiphany lately, and it was just I don't know. It's hard to get into it, but
okay.
One of the things I've been researching with bipolar, with that in general, is that it comes with an association of I am not worthy, like I am not, I am not worthy of that thing, or I cannot possibly deserve these things. And
like you mean like good things?
Lots of things, but
lots of things. Okay.
But mostly good things. And I keep on thinking back to when my ex-wife and I had our kind of last talk about our marriage, and she asked me to go first, and I had been really struggling with alcohol. I'd been really dealing with a lot of things, and in my brain, all I could think was that I wasn't worthy, that I didn't deserve this, and that I should just leave. And I keep on racking my brain about it, and I ride my motorcycle around and I think about these things, and I keep on racking my brain about is the simple question of why didn't she go first? She had just said something positive. If she had just said that she wanted to keep our marriage together, I would have agreed with her.
Huh.
She's never going to hear this. She's never going to listen to this. She thinks that we're a bunch of deviants. And she's probably right.
We're degens from upcountry, man.
Yeah. But that's been weighing on me lately. Just the thought of, just that weird thought experiment going through my head of when she asked me what are your thoughts? What do you want to do? And I really didn't know. And I was really confused, and I just broke everything off, and it was, it's been a couple of years now, and it's too late for those things to come back into play. But yeah, it's something that's been weighing on me, and maybe that's more of kind of my big check-in. But that's been something that's been bothering me lately. But everything else has been okay. Like I said, I've been all right otherwise, but I have had these thought experiments going on in my head, rattling through things.
Yeah. Because at the time you were drinking, you weren't.
At the time, I was just struggling with it. I don't know if
I mean, you were struggling with your bipolar, right?
Yeah. Well, I was always struggling with bipolar.
Right.
The alcohol didn't help it, and the fact
Right.
that I had just quit. I don't know. There's a whole lot of like bad psychology to it, or even good psychology to it. But anyway, either way, what it winds up being is, at that time, at that particular moment, I didn't feel secure. I didn't feel like I deserved this family, this happiness,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest is history. And I just keep on wondering, like, keep on thinking about it. If she had just gone first in that conversation,
Right.
if I would have said something different, if I would have felt different about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, so that's been bothering me. But other than that, just life in general, man. Trying to get through it all.
That's a big bother. That's not a little bother, bud. Like, it's okay for you to not like blow that off. I mean, that's what ifs suck.
Yeah.
What ifs really, really, really suck. I don't like them in terms of past tense. I don't like them in terms of looking towards the future. What if I do this? What will happen? What if I had done this? What would have happened?
Yeah.
I do know that what you just said is the question underneath that is, if somebody else had been willing to say that they wanted to fight for things to stay together, but changes needed to be made, would you have had the presence of mind at the time to make those changes and to fight for something that now it sounds like, later on, you kind of wish that you had?
No, I think that I'll always be in a grieving process with this.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, I guess what I really need is like Dennis Hopper from Apocalypse Now, just all hopped up on cocaine, going like, if is the middle word in life, man. Like, just like fucking going balls nuts on me. And like, then I can be like, oh, okay, that's what happens if you get focused on that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to be focused on it, but it's a little bit of like digging through my own psychology and trying to understand why things kind of went the way that they did. It's also probably a bit of loneliness trying to figure these things out as well.
Yeah.
I'd wanted to the possibility of packing up and moving out to be closer to my kids was really a clear and present thing. And then I got laid off, and now I'm kind of sitting in a weird financial space where like that is not a possibility. Like, that's just not going to happen today or soon.
If you found work out there, could you?
It's possible, but not in that town. I'm not going to find work in that small town.
Okay.
I won't be finding. I won't make enough money there to.
Gotcha.
No. I'll have to find something remote and then probably move.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's all these things. Like I said, it's probably about of just that loneliness of like, just some, I don't know how they say it. John Turturro said in State of Grace, it's just some bullshit attack of emotions. It's trying to blow it off, but yeah, it does. It bothers me. It bothers me quite a bit because there's this part of the psychology that I never truly understood, and my family growing up just kind of like adds into all of these pieces as they kind of like fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
That I suddenly think to myself, oh fuck, these things happen because of these specific events or these specific conditions.
You can draw a line.
Yeah, I can draw a line straight through it or straight to it, and it becomes tough to kind of like, I don't know. Some people will be like, well, you're bipolar, it's not your fault, and it's like, no, I mean, I got to own some of this.
Yeah.
I just wish that things had played out in literally like an order of 10 seconds could be swapped with another 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And life's not like that. It's if is the middle word in life, man.
Yeah, no, life's not like that. That's absolutely right.
Right. Let's get back to fart jokes.
It's hard to come back. It's hard to get back to fart jokes after.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
That was a big share. I mean, unless you literally fart into the microphone or Steve miraculously shows up.
Now.
You can't right now.
Well, no, I'm wearing a headset because you recommended that I do that, and I think
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
sound quality is a lot better. So,
Oh, 100%.
yeah, I could, in theory, just take off the headset and put the mic, right up.
You're gonna get shit mouth then.
Or, you know what else though? It's also possibly pink eye, like a real. I don't know what shit mouth is. Maybe that's a medical.
It's just pink eye for your mouth.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, same thing.
Oh,
it's
I
not
did know
actually a
that.
medical thing. The idea of you farting on your microphone and then putting it right up to your lips and being like, you know what? I really do hope somebody makes out with me today.
We're back to it. Yeah, ladies.
Ta-da.
This guy's single.
He's single, ladies. Come get him.
He was just chewing on his microphone earlier.
Yeah. And ask where that microphone was before.
You can
Dark
make fart
country.
jokes are awesome, dude. Like you've got if you watch Eddie Murphy, every one of his movies has a fart joke in it. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't like somehow he finds a way. I think even with the ones that he did for Disney, it was like they still managed to put a fart joke in.
Mm-hmm. Like the Nutty Professor, yeah.
You know what people are going to say? What about Beverly Hills Cop, the first one? And I tell you, the fart joke is because he can use turtle farts to get fingerprints off the glass of the turtle cage or turtle aquarium. So, turtle farts were actually the way that he solved the case.
It's like a scientific use of a fart joke. I like it.
It is in fact, Eddie Murphy.
You never
really
saw
good.
Ice-T do that in Law and Order. What the hell? Come on, Ice.
Yeah, what's up with that,
What's
Ice-T?
up with that, Ice-T?
Wait a minute, why do we expect Ice-T to do that? Is it because he's black? I don't think that's like a...
I was just thinking about procedural cop shows. That's it. And the most well-known name in all of those Mariska Hargitay, there's 17 people that know who Mariska Hargitay is.
That's just that's the kind of name you get when you knock over the Scrabble board.
Kinda, yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally.
Elias
totally
Koteas, or no, not Elias Koteas. What the?
I just went over it. I was like, other than Richard, what's his name? Other than
Belzer. Richard Belzer, yeah.
Other than Richard Belzer, Ice-T, you're right, is the most recognizable name.
He's multi-genre. I wasn't calling
amazing.
I wasn't calling it out because he's a black guy.
I just hadn't.
He just has the most reach.
I simply had not connected that Ice-T is like, yeah, he ties all those SVU and other crime shows together.
All of it. I think he's the unsung hero of Dick Wolf, which is still one of the greatest names of all time.
It is.
Lupine Urology.
Lupine Urology.
Dick Wolf, man.
Yeah, no. I'm smart enough to get that joke. It's cool.
No, I know you are. Sometimes I'm not sure I'm smart enough to get that joke, though. So I just have to repeat it into the microphone to see if it actually did. Somebody else laugh? Okay, good. It is funny. Ha-ha.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of the MCU. When you were like, how are you going to hold all this together? What thread are you going to use? And they were like, Robert Downey Jr. And you're like, oh, he's just going to be in all the movies? Everybody's movies? They're like, yeah. Yeah, and if he's not in them, we're going to reference him all the time. So, that's
and
that.
Still, for me, RDJ has a big, gigantic footprint just because Less Than Zero was such a great movie about addiction.
It's dark, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest part about that. It's, I guess, him and Spader, when they were making that, were both, seriously addicted.
Seriously addicted. It's so, oh, man, that's so funny to think that they were almost prophetic.
Yeah, weird, right?
As the prophecy says, Robert Downey Jr. shall probably do some jail time.
No, which is funny because Robert Downey Jr. gets caught in somebody's house and some kid's bed, right? Right around Thanksgiving or something, or Christmas, one of the big holidays.
Yeah.
John Belushi, still talking 10 or 20 years earlier. John Belushi, while they were on the set of the Blues Brothers, disappeared one night. And nobody could find him the next day.
Yeah.
At all. And Dan Aykroyd, everybody went out there, this big search. They didn't know where he was at. People were freaking out. They thought he'd been abducted, all sorts of stuff. And Dan Aykroyd just walked over to the neighborhood nearby the set and started knocking on doors until he found John. John had been sleeping on somebody's couch all night long and through the morning. He was just still there. He was just totally high, showed up, was out of his mind, and they just let him sleep on the couch, just sleeping off. So it's like that. back then that was a kind of like cult hero story,
Yeah.
and I think for some people it was an alarm. Modern times now, like you fast forward to like Robert Downey Jr. and all of that, and now it's definitely an alarm bell. You're like,
Yeah.
dude, you got wasted and like slept at some stranger's house. Like, do you think that's okay? Do you
We
think
just-
like, you know?
I feel like those were the first of the deaths from addiction that really started kind of a path where now we're seeing, we're seeing people dying from drug overdoses on a semi-regular basis, and every single time we're like, oh my God, I can't believe that this happened. Why didn't someone it's less like the cult hero thing, and now the like, somebody should have done something. Addiction is terrible. Like the amount of awareness for addiction is just growing and growing, and I appreciate that quite a bit.
Yeah, I welcome it too.
I feel like we would have less space to be able to discuss the things we discuss if we didn't have, people unfortunately having really, really adverse effects, and other people waking up to the fact that this shit can be really, really, really destructive on
I think
a
with
massive scale.
The explosion of Percocet addiction.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's been like we're like the everyday, like everyman,
Yeah,
everyday person, right? They've had that. Like suddenly it's like, oh wow, this is what it's like. It's like I used to hop on blogs all the time and criticize Robert Downey Jr. And tell terrible stories about John Belushi because they were addicts,
Yeah.
and they did dumb things. But this, now you've got like a perfectly normal person who goes from like a 6 month, and within a 6 month stint, goes from like normal person working in like a a construction job to somebody who's robbing a liquor store.
well, or just you look at like the death of small town America and the incredible rates of addiction that absolutely decimate these smaller towns.
What was like there was one I watched about a lady who was, and I think you can find this on Netflix. It's a documentary, but who was basically raising the alarm bells on a doctor in this town of like 20,000 people because over like 40 million pills of Percocet had moved through her office alone.
Yeah.
And it was like there's people who were like raising the alarm bells and like trying to get somebody to help them out with it, and the government, because of these wretched people who own these companies, push this agenda. Yeah, it's really, really terrible. So aside from like hating people, but understanding addiction.
Yeah. We missed the fart joke.
We really did. You know what
did.
though? Well, okay, so then we can move right into the easy fart joke on this one is, I'm gonna go ahead and take like 10 Percocets, and then I'm just gonna fart in a jar, and then there should be enough in there for me
to sell them. Yeah, if you live,
we'll call it filtered.
Yeah.
Filter.
I know that there's certain types of coffee that pass through cats. Before they get like roasted and ground up and stuff like that. I know that exists somewhere. I think it's like Caracol style coffee or something. I know that that's a thing. Maybe Ticky Butthole Percocet could be a thing.
Yeah. You know what though? Filtered by 100%. Like we can something like not like a spring water. We have to come up with something like that.
Artesian.
Yeah. The main thing being that when you distribute it, you've got to like make sure you have good eye, like goggles or something on.
Yeah,
otherwise,
definitely.
That's pink eye waiting to happen.
I mean, if people can sell their farts and underboob sweat on the internet and make a mint, I'm sure that we can recycle your perky farts.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Pink eye perky farts and
pink eye jar.
And that's that, by the way. Callback that brings it all the way back around. We have now wrapped up the intro section.
There we go. Intro section's wrapped up.
We have all the farts we need. We have talked about addiction. We have covered some sort of pop culture.
Yep, a little bit.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. Right on. Well, my name is Will.
And given sound medical advice.
And a little bit. Speaking of medical advice, my name is Will. I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Ticky, and I'm an alcoholic.
The worst thing that happened to me this week in terms of my sobriety was about. So I had two. One that we'll talk about in the long form discussion. One real quick. I had another. I had more cravings based on watching show. So like more contextual cravings. So I'm watching Deadwood. Deadwood's one of my favorite shows. Talked about a lot. They drink whiskey a lot on that show. There was one scene that reminded me of the kinds of moments that we would have where one of us would talk shit and the others were drinking, and like the person talking shit would like take a shot after talking enough shit, and then the rest of us would all look at them with really puzzled looks on our faces and then take a shot too and be like, yeah, okay, like, because we didn't want to like go into it. We just like, they talk their shit, let's move on. And this happened to me a lot, by the way. I would talk a lot of shit, take a shot, and then everybody around me would take a drink and look at me like, yep, Will's in his cups. It happened. So there was a scene like that in the show, and it reminded me, and it gave me a craving. So that's I weathered it just fine, but it did exist, and I did want to say something about it. So, Ticky, how about you, bud?
Similar thing, except what I've been finding myself doing lately is I play like a little like mind game with like, oh, this character is drinking, and they always do whiskey. It's like a really popular one, especially in westerns.
Yeah.
Like whiskey. It's like, you guys know bathtub gin was a thing too.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's always something I'm like, and I'm always like, is that just food coloring in there? Are they doing apple juice?
I think it's tea.
Tea. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think it's tea.
I go through that like kind of mental exercise of like trying to figure out what the actor is drinking.
Yeah.
And it actually like kind of takes away that contextual like craving, like you were saying, like, because now I have like something that I'm kind of like playing with in my head where I'm like, oh, it's totally not alcohol, but what is that?
Yeah, because you can't get
like,
they probably took like 15 takes of that scene, like.
Yeah, right. And but the thing is, you're right. If it's tea, then they're gonna have to pee really bad.
Oh yeah. Well, they've got like they've got like a bucket where anytime you see an actor eating on screen, like you never see them swallow.
Yeah, you don't. Well, I mean, the only time you see them swallow is if you're watching the right kind of westerns. Maybe other styles too.
Huh.
But anyway.
Art house films?
Yeah.
Or are we talking about just like Gordon Ramsay shit?
Gordon, no. Just. So they spit it out. Yeah, I follow that.
There it is.
Yeah, I did know that, but the whiskey when they like drink it down,
Yeah.
My main thing is always like I was just watching. I watched Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, how was it?
The
with
post
Kurt Russell, right?
Yeah. So the post I had on my Facebook was pretty much the way that I felt about it, which is the first like 2/3 of the movie, probably like 3/4 of the movie, is like playing a game on really high difficulty. And you're just pissed off by how much you have to slog through and how difficult it is, and all your characters keep dying or getting kidnapped or something else. And then you get the final part of the game, and you're like, all right, I'm going to finish this out. And you find out that because you left it on high difficulty, you can't win. So you turn it on to easy. And then that way you can finish out the story.
Oh.
That's how it felt. It was like one of the characters, like, I mean, never misses with his, like, he's like, headshot. He like turns into fucking John Wick with like a broken leg. And it's like, what? When the hell did that happen? It's really annoying. But it's brutal. It is visceral. And evidently every wound ever received by anybody anywhere in the Old West was basically like a tourniquet. That's like all they knew how to do.
Yeah, everything gets a tourniquet.
My fingers chopped off, tourniquet. And shot in the leg, tourniquet.
It reminds me a little bit of have you seen the movie Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yes.
I got a headache the other day. The doctor prescribed me an ear nail. I got a scratch on my shin, and the doctor pecked out my eye with a bluebird to try to cure it. Like, this is one of my favorite fucking
No, that's true.
comedies.
I enjoyed the movie, but it is a slow burn at the beginning. The ending, I think, kind of comes on rather quickly, but it's still quite good. But it's it's brutal. It's like
Gotcha.
visceral at times.
Gotcha.
And they don't really pull any punches in terms.
And that is one of my favorite
what the
words.
injuries look like. I liked it though, and I thought that it was a really interesting concept too. So
Okay, all right, I'll have to check it out. It's been on my list for a little while. I don't watch a lot of anything anymore. I have stuff playing in the background that I can tune out.
Kurt Russell's mustache beard thing that he's got going on.
Oh yeah, no, he looks
righteous.
He looks righteous. Absolutely
Yeah,
righteous.
and there's some like other like kind of, I don't know, they do some other things very well, like some of the way that how cordial people are and their mannerisms and manners and all that. Like it's very interesting the way that they do a lot of things, and I still enjoyed it. It was just like I said, the first like 3/4 of the movie is just, it's brutal. It's tough to get through. It feels like work.
Gotcha. Okay.
But once you get to the end, it is pretty satisfying.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay.
Quick review of a good movie.
I don't mind a review of a good movie every once in a while.
I know we don't have those.
Okay. We don't do that very often.
So everybody, mark your calendar. It happened here.
Ta-da! The stars aligned.
So yeah, sorry, we kind of got off topic with the check-in there, but
no, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I followed you what you were saying though about the cultural. When I was watching Bone Tomahawk, there were a lot of people, especially, who were like just, they would like take the whiskey and they just do it in one shot, and it's like that their facial expression wouldn't change, they wouldn't flush red. There's all sorts of things that just wouldn't happen, and I'm like, I don't know, like I just know how I looked whenever I drank.
Yeah, yeah. There was almost always a grimace.
Oh yeah, everybody knew from like the bags under my eyes, like how like watered they got, to my cheeks getting all flush and big, and it was like, yeah. So it's just those little things when I watch some of these movies, and I'm like, you can't replicate certain parts of it without having like your entire cast just sloshed.
I don't know, one of the best representations of being actually drunk I've ever seen was in the show Deadwood. I think her name is Rachel Weigert or Robin Weigert. She plays Calamity Jane in the show.
Oh, really?
And she is phenomenal in the role. I mean, everybody in that in that show, except for honestly probably Timothy Olyphant, was incredibly well cast. Like Anna Gunn was in it, Brad Dourif was in it, Ian McShane was in it, Dayton Colley was in it. Like, there's so many wonderful, wonderful actors that make up this show that it's almost impossible to look away. But the lady that plays Calamity Jane, like, it's not just the slur. It's she looks the part. She really does embody alcoholism on the way down. In a very, very physical sense, she really does embody it very, very well. Which was unfortunately kind of underplayed a little bit. Like, it would have been nice to have. There's one really emotional scene where she's confessing to a friend of her. Well, friend/rival. I don't know, frenemy maybe, I guess would be the right term. But she's confessing to him that the death of her best friend, Wild Bill Hickok, and the alcoholism was starting to get to her. And it's such a great emotional breakdown of a scene for the character. And I was like, yep, that's a fucking scene that I can get behind, because I've had that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, so, no, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Deadwood, so I'll have to.
Oh, it's so good. Just it's not a good plot. It's a simple plot. Okay. The characterizations and the dialogue.
That's how real life plays out. Like, real life is not Game of Thrones complicated.
No, not at all.
You could literally just not be a dick and then like have a good life.
Yeah.
That's all you'd have to do. Nobody's plotting against you.
Yeah.
Like, why would they?
I don't know. I highly suggest people take a look at it, because it's still one of my it's one of my favorite westerns, one of my favorite shows. It was unfortunately really, really unsatisfactorily concluded because HBO kind of cut it. I think halfway through the third season, so they didn't get a very good wrap up, and then they did a movie in 2019 that was okay, but yeah, The original series was just fantastic. Just some of the best dialogue I've ever heard in any. You have to like the words cunt and cocksucker though, because they use both of those terms liberally.
Like written by an Australian.
No, it was more just because of the way that swear words in in any anachronized time would sound to a modern audience. Like, if I called you a yellow belly right now, that doesn't do anything. We would think that's hokey and stupid. But if I call somebody the C word, that lands.
Out of curiosity.
Yeah.
How come just a minute ago it was cunt and now it's the C word?
I think I'm just making it land that it's verboten. I'm making it land that it's verboten. If I just say cunt,
it would
then
just be so offensive.
it would just like it just
use the real word.
Yeah. You
that I just used.
But if I say the C word, you can be like, oh, okay, I understand. Yeah. So there, I used both twice now. So take your pick, see which one you liked.
Yeah, you did it repeatedly.
So anyways.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
Even
go check that out.
Culture worked into everything. I think we got this one wrapped up too.
Yeah. So tonight's sobriety conversation starter. So one of the things that I haven't had to deal with was substances in my house. Like we haven't had more than about a single White Claw in this house since I got sober, and the one White Claw stayed in the back of the fridge. Like there's only one of them. It's not like I can, sneak it, get drunk off of it, and then say to my wife, well, your sister-in-law must have drank it because I would never drink White Claw.
It was the children.
Yeah, it was the kids. It was both the kids. They came in, singing arm in arm, "How dry I am."
They had the crazy straws out. It was madness.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I totally follow you on that.
So
no alcohol, but addictive stuff.
Yeah, so no alcohol. The only pain meds are over the counter. We have some edibles in the house, but I don't like weed. I don't like weed at all. It's never been something that I particularly enjoy. Even when I was like, maybe I'll find an alternative to drinking, that still lets me relax, or whatever bullshit excuse that I wanted to give myself. I just don't like it. I don't like chasing thought rabbits. That's what I call it when I get high. I'm chasing thought rabbits. I'm like, they're always elusive. I can't seem to catch them, and when I do, I forget that I caught them 2 seconds after I caught them.
Yeah.
So I never like that. I want to be able to string thoughts together. I want to have chain of thought evidence. If I have a brilliant, genius, incredibly funny thing that I thought, it probably didn't actually happen, but I definitely don't want to be impaired by weed.
It's like the whole thing with when somebody says, 12 monkeys and 12 typewriters will wind up running Shakespeare.
Right.
No, they didn't. They didn't though, because they actually ran that experiment, and all they got was a bunch of fucking gibberish.
They didn't get just like requests for bananas.
They did. It's written out.
Give Bobo a banana.
So yeah, no, they didn't. It turns out that that's actually a falsehood. You're not going to get that kind of quality, and it's the same way with pot. Like it helps to clarify my thoughts, and I'm like, I guess maybe with some people it does. I'm sure, whatever. Maybe it helps them with some other symptoms of something else. Cool.
Maybe.
I'm not going to tell you to, but I will tell you that. Much like the same, and I know this, I told this story before, but when I watched Elysium while I was high, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something,
yeah,
I could not follow the plot.
Yeah, and that's not exactly a difficult plot to follow. Like, Jodie Foster and capitalism, bad.
By the way, this is like not themes. This is just the plot. Like,
yeah.
Leaning over and looking at Seiko and going, hey, how come we're in space now? like when did this happen? And he's like, Jesus, dude. He's like, you've asked me about like every scene so far. And I'm like, have I? Okay.
Why are we on Earth? Why does Earth look like Arizona?
They're in space. Where are they going in space? Like the ring. the whole time I was like
I love
annoying the crap out of him.
I love the idea of Cinco getting annoyed at "Hi, Ticky." That's hysterical.
Isn't that a funny thought?
That's such a great thought.
Yeah, just them like oh my god, like
So-
you're so fucking annoying when you're high.
Anyways, so like I said, don't have much in the house, but recently I've got a family member that is struggling with some medical conditions, including some pain. So there is now a painkiller somewhere in my house. And it's not an over-the-counter. It's something that is a full-on narcotic. And I've never had real issues with narcotics. The few times that I've had them, I have used them for their course, and that's it. Like, I never went out and tried to get more. I've never asked anybody if they had extra. Like, I've never even gotten a refill on my originals. All I did was just take what they gave me, and that was it. Here's the thing, though. I liked it. And I say that very, very honestly. I could totally see a world where if they're in the house, I could completely find myself falling into old bad habits of sneaking, lying to try to get my load on. So when I got the news that this was going to be in the house, the family member said, "Hey, can you go pick this up at the pharmacy for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can pick them up at the pharmacy." It comes in these like tissue paper bags that are really hard to like open up, and like the count is written right on the outside of the bottle, so it's not like I was going to open up the package, get the bottle out, take the lid off, sneak some out, and then hand them to the family member. But all of the thoughts of, could I do this? Could I get away with it? Flashed through my head. And I was angry at myself for thinking that.
No. Don't be angry. That's just that genetic part of you that's, you're part upstate degen.
Oh, I know. No, I know that's the upstate degen part of me, but I was angry at that part of myself. It was really, really frustrating to... I was at the gym. I was like trying to do something that was on the path of making myself the best version of myself, and here comes this possible thing that could 100% derail me, which just it just irritated the crap out of me. And I wasn't irritated at anybody else except for that part of me that thought that thing for a minute. So my inner Dennis Quaid, and that's an Inner Space reference for all of you people out there. If you don't know Inner Space, Rick Moranis, Dennis Quaid, early 80s science fiction where...
Not Rick Moranis.
It's not Rick Moranis?
No.
I thought it was Rick Moranis.
It's Martin Short.
Martin Short. That's all right. Short Canadians, all right? That's all I had. That's all I had, all right? I had short Canadians in my head. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Thank you, Steve. I was thinking that same, like, I'm gonna have to look this up. I feel pretty confident.
Sorry, Martin Short. My bad.
I feel like that derails your bigger point.
That's okay. No. You know what? You well actually at a perfect time. So thank you very much.
Yes,
I was expecting Ticky to be the well actually guy. It was you. Good job.
Nice.
I didn't well actually. I just slid it in there.
But in that movie, he's the hero, and in my internal dialogue of my health, he was the narc going, I really don't want to put up with having to deal with the next 2 years of you relapsing because of pills. You need to put some things in place to make sure that you don't, and you need to be the one to do it. So, the base message that I want to get to is when these kind of situations arise where you have the opportunity and the first thing that pops into your head is, how can I hide getting this from people that care about me? The very first thing you should say to those people is, I want you to hide this. I want you to not tell me where it is. It's fine if it's in the house. It's fine that you're going to be taking it because you don't have an addiction problem, but I do. I know that this exists. I know it's in my house. I want you to know that I might try to take some. Please hide this from me for my own good. So I had a plan. I told the family member, I told all of the family members that needed to know that this was something that had to be done. Everybody agreed with me. Everybody, said, hey, good job. Which we've talked about how I always feel like it's really, 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 really weird when somebody says good job on being sober, because I always think that like being sober is a correction for being, for doing an asshole thing, and how like misplaced that kind of emotionality is. But everybody said it, and I had the plan. I put it in place, and now I know it's in the house, but I'm not thinking about it. I know that it's hidden, and I know that the family member is keeping track of them. So it would be very difficult for me to hide it, and I just between not wanting to relapse and not wanting to lie, because things have been going so well for me as it goes with my sobriety, all of those things are combining to be the tools that I need to make sure that I don't have a relapse with a substance that's in my house for a good reason.
You say that you're not thinking about these things, but you kind of went into a lot of explanations.
Well, so all of this kind of stuff happened.
Processes.
What's that?
There's just a whole lot. There was just a whole lot you shared with us there.
Yeah,
that was just to say that you weren't thinking about it didn't seem right. It seems like you're thinking quite a bit, and you're really cautious about your attitude towards it.
Well, I thought about it very, very heavily up until I told everybody, hey, this needs to be hidden and counted. I thought about it very heavily for that period of time, and then after that, other than to try to put my thoughts into a more coherent way of explaining to the podcast what I was thinking.
Honestly, because I have similar things whenever I think about it. I'm like, oh my god, there's all this and blah, and my brain immediately goes, God, I suck at this. I just make fun of myself in my head, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Who do you think you're fooling?
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
What are you gonna do with that, genius, huh? I'm that Seth MacFarlane Emperor Palpatine voice in the back of my head yelling at me.
Yeah.
So whenever it comes up for me, I always wind up having to think well, do I want to? I already have enough problems. And then I play that scenario forward, and then it doesn't look good. So I basically just shake my head at it and go oh man, I'm stupid. But kudos to you for not thinking you're stupid.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It happens every once in a while. I don't think I'm all that stupid.
Good deal.
Yeah, thanks.
That's the compliment you're getting today.
That's the only one I needed.
It's the only one, but it's the only one you're getting.
It's all I needed. I'm so used to.
Say anything terrible about you.
Honestly, I just stood in the mirror with my shirt off for a little while, and that made me feel better about myself. So I'm okay.
Yeah, it's the same way I masturbate. Whatever.
Nice. You masturbate to a picture of me shirtless.
True narcissist. No, I look at the mirror.
Backtrack it now, buddy. Wow. Every time I look in the mirror, reflection perfection, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, Steve popped in mid-fuckery there, mid-explanation, mid-chat. Hey, Steve, how are you? Little frustrated at your computer?
Yes.
A little
Things
pissy?
are not going well.
Little pewter pissy?
Yeah.
Well, you missed a banger of an intro joke for you earlier tonight. I rattled it off even though you weren't here.
Well,
Something about you protesting Taika Waititi movies with signs that say "Bring back Fat Thor."
Ooh, LST, long-term storytelling. LTS.
LTS?
Yeah.
LTST?
Yeah. I like it from last week.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to tie it all in. I like tying things in. Like that. But
I like when the computer works.
If only. How are you, man? How are things? Everything all right? Generally?
Yes, aside from the frustration of this glorious piece of technology that was not functioning the way it should have. Yeah, things are good.
My sadness for you knows no bounds. Actually, it would have been nice if you had been here earlier, but that's okay. That's all right.
I would have liked to have been here earlier. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. No, that wasn't a rebuke. I'm not fucking with you. That wasn't a rebuke. It would have been nice. It's okay. Like, you know,
plus
Ticky
side
and I
is-
are old hands at this. We can figure out how to run a podcast.
Dear God, can we?
I assumed
No,
that you would just simply fall apart, the both of you.
We did
I
sigh up
figured-
A
ourselves.
little bit, yeah.
I'd get
A couple
on,
of
there would
times
just
we
be
managed to
sirens
bring
in the background.
lots of pop culture references.
Lots of yeah.
Back to but you are in time for the video game section or the gaming section.
You are.
Which is good, because I have input.
That's good. I'm glad you have input. I'm glad that that I was able to get out a good note on what I wanted to talk about tonight.
Well, I don't have input on that.
Oh fuck!
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
You're like, no, I'm not talking about what you want to talk about. I'm talking about video games. So it's not just video games though. It's gaming in general. And the kind of the topic of conversation that I wanted to have was I'm noticing a lot of interconnected attempts at trying to force parasocial relationships on gaming companies. And the breakdown of what that basically means is everybody on the internet has an opinion, and everybody thinks that producers of stuff should be reading their opinions. And the kind of broad strokes idea that I wanted to talk about tonight was, what do gaming companies owe us, and what do we wish that we could have in terms of interaction with them? Should they put out a game and that's it? They make it, we buy it, that's the end of it, because that used to be how it was. Now it seems like they make it, they beta it, they get feedback, they release it, we pay for it, and then we continually harp or bitch or moan or exalt or, there's so much more interconnectedness between product producer and product consumer nowadays. So what do you think of that, Steve?
I am for it. No, just kidding.
Fucker.
So no, I've actually been thinking about this a lot since you kind of brought it up. And actually, as much as that was a joke, it was a little bit the truth. I think I've been waffling on this. I kind of can't decide. I think on the one hand, you're right? Like, it used to be just, here you go, here's what you get, for good or for ill, and I mean, there's something to be said for that, like, because you don't need, several thousand just assholes with an opinion telling you how to run your goddamn game.
Yeah.
Because some of, like, don't get me wrong, there's things in games that I don't like, but I can live with, and if they're listening too much, right, then does it just bog it down? Does it ruin it? But then
is there a dilution of the original vision?
Exactly. Is it, does it become not what you're looking for? But at the same time, on the exact opposite side of that coin, they should listen. Like, there have been some crap games that have been put out there throughout the time.
Yeah.
That it clearly was whatever the studio wanted to do, and maybe maybe that wasn't the exact vision from the core group to begin with. Maybe it was more of the bigger production, the Activisions or whatever, having their fingers in a thing, that changing stuff for probably, frankly, the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of can't decide, man.
I can't either.
I would venture to say that I think both of you guys are kind of, obviously you're not looking at this correctly, but I think that, in my opinion, you have the fact that a game is a work of art. And sometimes, you know what? Your baby is ugly. That's just what happens. They produce shit games. Some people do. Hey, that's the truth. But, as the Australians would put it, you still want a fair dinkum out of the deal. It's still got to be fair. And I was talking to you earlier about this, Will, and this is actually what comes back to me is Rainbow Six Vegas 1 versus Rainbow Six Vegas 2. They're the same game for the most part. The multiplayer aspects of the game, though, there were, I think, 3 maps originally intended, or 4 maps for the multiplayer. In Rainbow Six Vegas 1, 3 extra maps were released. Well, in Rainbow Six Vegas 2, you didn't get those 3 other maps.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big outcry from the fans. Like, it's the same. It's pretty much the same fucking game. I just spent $60 on the first one. I spent $60 on the second one, and now you want to charge me $20 for these 3 maps that we both know you already built, you already made. And the publisher in their defense, I mean, they wanted to make more money off of it. Sure, they wanted to get in the DLC piece, but instead of doing that, they actually capitulated to the fan base and basically gave up the map packs for free, along with some other stuff that had been available in the first Rainbow Six Vegas.
Sure.
And the 2 games themselves, I mean, I think they released in like within a year of each other. I would say in that case, the fan complaints are, we want a fair deal. We want to be treated fairly. Not, I want you to change your content to match my vision of your work of art.
Sure. And I think
does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no,
where I'm going with that.
I think it totally makes sense, and I think that's a place where the audience being able to say, hey, you have 2 games that are basically the same exact game. They're built off the same engine. There might be graphical updates in one versus the other. There might not be. Why are we paying extra for something for the previous iteration that you're not rolling out for the most modern version of the game? That seems like profiteering. And I think that kind of outcry, when there is that sort of profiteering, I think that's a good thing. I think that's something where the customer doesn't have it doesn't have anything but the vote by dollar and vote by, Twitter following kind of thing, right? So I think that's a good thing. But I also see a lot of toxicity thrown at game producers who, for whatever, there's a myriad of reasons for it. Maybe they pushed out a product too quickly. Maybe there were stylistic, issues or problems. I see a lot of double-edged swords to the amount of engagement that companies will take on or will just simply ignore. So I think that it's a really, really kind of a nuanced question. Like the game that I put the most time and effort into was one where if you went to one of the cons where they were at, you got to play with the people that made the game. And that was fascinating to me. And it was actually one of the reasons that I stopped playing Warhammer 40K in favor of this, was because I like Warhammer 40K is it's Games Workshop, which is a company in England that I was never going to see real representation from. But War Machine and Hordes, that was a game that when I went to Lock and Load with Russ, the very first game that we played was against the designer of the game. It was just luck of the draw that we happened by his table, looked at his models, said, these are amazing. He offered to have a game he offered to play a game with us. Russ said yes, sat down with him, had a great game, got his, ass kicked. But that was one of my favorite, that really cemented that this was going to be a company that I wanted to put money and effort into. And lately, that feeling for that company has dissipated as they have pulled away from their audience.
Right. And you can. Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
But there's also, toxic fan bases that will look at one game put out by a company, then look at the next one that didn't live up to whatever hype they thought it was going to, that then trash that company now as a bullshit company, when the first game in a series of 2 or 3 was something that was revolutionary or amazing or really scratched a particular itch of the market, and the toxic fanhood and the so I feel like the big old double sword. But what were you gonna say?
I was going to say that the engagement, that up close engagement, it is a double-edged sword. you can get into that toxic fandom where people are like, and they'll post pics of your game and everything else that's going on, and any little thing that they find, especially if they want to nitpick, and oh god, does the internet love to nitpick shit. Um, they'll post out, but it'll be dumb shit like, this purple top doesn't match these purple pants
Huh.
on my character. This is fucking bullshit. How come I paid all? I'm like going on, but
Yeah.
it's like, and now you as a company have to write your game designers and all of that have to now either, like, we have to figure out, like, where is our priority.
Mm-hmm.
Does that affect the gameplay? No. All right, throw that into like the low priority bin. But that toxic fandom, I mean, is this something that they're going to latch on to, build momentum from, and make a really big fucking deal out of?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and like you said, it's a very double-edged sword. The engagement with the community is good. I think that maybe we would look at like EA as a company that really didn't do a good job of engaging with their fans. And whenever they did, they had like the worst answers to everybody's complaints.
Yeah, and they're still not a great company.
No, they're still. Sorry, I'm saying they were. I don't know about right now, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're still shit.
Yeah, no, they're still
versus like some of the other better companies that like I think that Blizzard has had World of Warcraft running for, what is this like there are kids who are like
since
born.
like 2003.
Right. So we have right now we have people who were born when World of Warcraft was released, who are now like adults, who could could have been playing it through their teenage years.
Here's the thing,
sooner.
though. I can point to a place in World of Warcraft's history where things went from being really, really good because it was Blizzard to things being really, really bad because Activision bought Blizzard.
Right. Yep.
And how
I was simply using the longevity is what I was
Gotcha.
discussing.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah. I mean, it's you bring up a good point though. I mean, it's where how close to the fans will you get? What will you do with that toxic kind of like culture that can
how do you parse the constructive from the
right.
toxic?
How do you
That's a
filter out?
huge thing because like there are brilliant people that have passionate thoughts about these games that want to see the games succeeding
and
grow that will absolutely be drowned out by a million fuckboys that completely and utterly are a way bigger squeaky wheel. Like if Steve, if you were to send out an email that said, "Hey, listen, I really didn't like the neon samurai bullshit that you got." Well, you wouldn't say neon samurai
bullshit. They won't
bullshit.
answer those letters anymore.
You start taping them to rats and throwing them at headquarters. That's not part of the toxic. That's not part of the toxic fandom at all. But the point being, like, you could say, hey, in my local area, we've noticed this design sort of thing that you're implementing, and it's not hitting, it's not firing on all cylinders. What about a return to an interpretation of X, Y, or Z that was a little bit more in the game's flavor in the past? Something that you really enjoyed, but was just enough of a change as a suggestion. Well, that's going to get completely ignored if one, sales figures are anywhere near the mark, or it gets drowned out by a whole bunch of this neon samurai bullshit is bullshit. You're a bunch of bullshitters, bullshit heads.
So I think that's a great example too, because we're here in our teeny tiny little dark corner of our podcast and whatnot, reaching all 6 listeners. But I'm not the only one who shared those opinions on this particular direction that Magic the Gathering is going. There's been a lot of criticism for that. But you bring up like that money side of it, which I think is huge, right? The numbers for them are bearing out. They're putting out a lot more product that's geared towards the people who are going to spend it, right?
Yeah.
The people who have that kind of income. I don't anymore. And just even this aesthetic choices, people are buying it. So while you have the this group that doesn't like this stuff, it's still selling. So, are they going to listen? Probably not.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all over the place.
Capitalism.
Stupid stinking capitalism. Of course, if it was just socialism, you would get a game that was just, cardboard with like stick figures drawn on it.
What are you talking about?
You'd have to make up your own.
They've basically done that. And then they sold it to you anyways, and people bought it. Like
they did.
There was a set, a couple sets back, that one of the alternate art versions of the card were just the kind of sketched out sort of garbage.
Yeah.
And people bought it because, of course, they did.
Because we're all just sheep.
I feel like I'm getting into it like a weird soapboxy
anti-Wizards of the Coast.
Which is not my intent.
No,
that was a good example.
We can like a product and not like a particular decision, and be able to criticize that fairly without saying inflammatory things. We can do that. We have that capability. We don't always exercise that capability, but we have it. So yeah. All right. Well. That kind of rounds us off. You guys got anything else? Ticky, you got anything else you'd like to say about that?
No.
Good. Steve, do you have anything to say about that? Anything more to say about that?
No. Yeah, I think we covered it.
Yeah.
I think we're good on it.
Cool. Cheers. Well, then, like every episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast, we'd like to shout out to the mutual support groups we hope you turn to in your time of need. Alcoholics Anonymous, AA.org, 212-870-3400. Moderation Management, moderation.org, 212-871-0974. Secular AA, SOS, sobriety.org, 323-693-1633. Smart Recovery, smartrecovery.org, 440-951-5357. Women for Sobriety, womenforsobriety.org, 215-536-8026. I did that so fast because my wife hates it when I do it. For anybody that needs help in that's a family or friend of an addict and would like some help or counseling, there's Al-Anon family groups, www.al-anon.alateen.org, or they can be reached at 1-888-425-2666. For all of us here at the Save vs. Poison podcast, I'm Will.
I'm Ticky.
Yeah, I'm Steve.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We wish you warm, creamy regards. Good night. You've just listened to another episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. If you liked what you heard, please follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitter at @VS_save, on Facebook at the Save vs. Poison podcast, and streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/SvP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay safe, everyone.